be disrupted. I'll focus on transportation. So in 2014, 5+ years ago, I published a book called Clean Disruption, where I made a lot of what then were considered pretty insane predictions. And I'll go over that. But these are the 4 technologies plus 1 business model that are disruptive in and of themselves. But when you converge those technologies, essentially they're super disruptive. And by 2030, they're going to wipe out conventional energy and transport as we know it. So I'm going to walk you through that. Batteries is the number 1. I mean, not the most important, but the first technology. And this is exactly the cost curve that I published 5.5 years ago. And of course, I was called insane. It's not going to go down by 80% in 5 years, I was told many times. They were right. It's gone down by 90%. I mean, it's gone down actually much faster. And that's because of a number of things, right? And what happens when the cost curve is like that? You know, if you take the example of Australia, in South Australia, the biggest battery on the grid back then, now it's not the biggest one anymore, but that battery was just 2% of that market, 2%. Within weeks, it wiped out 90% of the revenues in that market from the ancillary services providers. Weeks, that's market trauma, right? Just a 2% market penetration, done, right? That's disruption for you. So my prediction has been that first, batteries plus solar and wind are going to disrupt or have already disrupted ancillary services. Then peakers, I made the prediction that by 2020, peakers are going to be obsolete, gone, no more peakers, right? And then baseload. And when is that baseload going to happen? Soon enough, right? Now, when the battery costs come down, that enables another disruption, EVs. And so the question is the EV disruptive, or is it a greeny, commie conspiracy against oil companies? And of course, the other question is, who can afford an electric vehicle? Not me. I mean, look at my suit, 10-year-old picture, same suit. I don't even own a car, let alone an EV, right? But is the EV disruptive? Well, I'll give you many reasons. I can give you many reasons, but I'll just walk you through a few. One is that on a per mile basis, EVs are 10 times cheaper to power than internal combustion engine automobiles or trucks or whatever. An EV has 20 plus moving parts versus 2,000 plus for an internal combustion engine. EVs have exactly zero maintenance or near zero. And that's why companies can give infinite mile warranty, because they can. And this is something that you won't hear a lot still in mainstream analysis, which is that EVs drive 500,000 miles plus, and that makes them super disruptive. Of course, they say individuals only drive 10,000 miles a year. Why is, I mean, it would take us 50 years to drive an EV, right? I mean, who drives a car for 50 years? Unless you live in Cuba, right? But if you're a fleet, it is interesting because fleets go 100,000 miles per year. Over 5 years, if you're Uber or Lyft or Amazon, 100,000 miles per year means over 5 years, you need 1 EV or 3 internal combustion engine automobiles or vans. So it becomes interesting if you are a fleet. And that's exactly what's going on. So what is the electric vehicle cost curve? And this is exactly what I published in 2014. And, you know, essentially I said by early 2019, the market is going to have an unsubsidized 200-mile electric vehicle for $35,000 by early 2019. Thank you, Tesla, right? I mean, it's happened exactly on the money, as I predicted. Of course, back then I was insane. Now, of course, everybody knows it. But if you continue that cost curve, What that cost curve says is that by 2025, all vehicles are going to be electric. All cars, all trucks, all vans, for purely economic reasons. Because by 2025, we're going to have $10,000 EVs with 200-mile range. Done. No more gasoline vehicles or diesel. 2025, right? Is that happening? Well, it is. I mean, go to China and you can already start seeing the $15,000 to $20,000 EVs with 300-kilometer range. So Amazon, a company not known for being green,